Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Yadavaya Namaha, Sri Madhusudhana, Bangan Langayate Girim, Sri Gurum Dina Tharinam, Sri Caitanya Ishwaram,
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we will continue with the compilation of the Sri Krishna Chaitanya book. Today's chapter is entitled Gopāla Cakravartī offends Srila Haridāsa Ṭhākura and is attacked by leprosy. Part 4. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 3.212.
ভগবান ও ভক্ত অর্থাৎ বিষ্ণু ও বৈষ্ণবের স্বভাব। যদ্যপি হরিদায় দুঃখের দোষ না লইলাম, তথাপি ঈশ্বর তার ফল বঞ্জাইলাম।
Though Haridāsa Ṭhākura, as a Vaishnava, did not take seriously the Brahmana's offense, the Supreme Personality of Godhead could not tolerate it, and thus he made the Brahmana suffer the consequences.
It's very important to avoid committing any offense against a Vaishnava.
So it's very important to avoid committing any offense against a Vaishnava.
Because even the Vaishnava does not take it seriously,
Because even if the Vaishnava does not take it seriously,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead may do so.
but the Supreme Personality of Godhead may do so. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Adikanda 16.307.
যেমন উক্ত পাষণ্ডীর বৈষ্ণব নিন্দা, তেমনই তাহার উপযুক্ত শাস্তি লাভ বা উপযুক্ত ফল প্রাপ্তি। হরিদাস ঠাকুরে বলিলেক যেন, কৃষ্ণ তাহার শাস্তি করিলেন তেন।
Lord Krishna.
The punishment he had proposed for Haridāsa Ṭhākura was awarded to himself by Lord Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada. Although Haridāsa Ṭhākura did not curse or desire inauspiciousness on that sinful atheist, since that offensive atheist criticized and spoke unpalatable, envious words to Haridāsa Ṭhākura, the Lord awarded such severe punishment on him.
Since Gopāla Cakravartī had threatened to cut the nose off of Haridāsa Ṭhākura,
Since Gopāla Cakravartī was trying to cut off the nose of Haridāsa Ṭhākura,
his nose was destroyed.
his nose was destroyed. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 3.213.
ভক্ত স্বভাব অজ্ঞ দোষ ক্ষমা করে, কৃষ্ণ স্বভাব ভক্ত নিন্দা সহিতে না পারে।
The characteristic of a pure devotee is that he excuses any offense by an ignorant rascal. A characteristic of Krishna, however, is that he cannot tolerate blasphemy of his devotees. Prepared by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The characteristic of a Vaishnava and the characteristic of the Lord mentioned in this verse are very significant. In his Sikshashtaka, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu has taught the characteristics of a Vaishnava. Tranadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna amanena manadena kirtaniya sadaharihi. A Vaishnava strictly follows this principle of being humbler than a grass and more tolerant than a tree, expecting no honor from others but offering honor to everyone. In this way, a Vaishnava is simply interested in chanting about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and glorifying Him. Haridāsa Ṭhākura epitomized this foremost order of Vaishnavism. Krishna, however, cannot tolerate any insults or blasphemy against a Vaishnava. For example, Prahlad Maharaj was chastised by his father, Hiranyakashipu, in so many ways, but although Prahlada tolerated this, Krishna did not. The Lord therefore came in the form of Nrsimhadev to kill Hiranyakashipu. Similarly, although Srila Haridāsa Ṭhākura tolerated the insult of Gopāla Cakravartī, Krishna could not. The Lord immediately punished Gopāla Cakravartī by making him suffer from leprosy. While instructing Srila Rupa Goswami about the many restrictive rules and regulations for Vaishnavas, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu has very vividly described the effects of offenses at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Jodi Vaishnav Aparad Uthe Hatimata. Madhava 19.156. Offending or blaspheming a Vaishnava has been described as the greatest offense, and it is compared to a mad elephant. When a mad elephant enters a garden, it ruins all the creepers, flowers, and trees. Similarly, if a devotee properly executing his devotional service becomes an offender at the lotus feet of his spiritual master or another Vaishnava, his devotional service is spoiled.
One has to be very careful not to offend any Vaishnava.
So one has to be very careful not to offend any Vaishnava.
The Lord Caitanya described this offense as a mad elephant offense.
Lord Caitanya describes this offense as a mad elephant offense.
That a mad elephant enters your garden,
That if a mad elephant enters a garden,
it will ruin and uproot all the trees in the garden.
it will ruin and uproot all the trees in the garden.
So one should be very careful not to commit any Vaishnava aparad.
So one should be very careful not to commit any Vaishnava aparadha. Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 3.214.
ব্রহ্মবন্ধুর ক্লেশ শ্রবণে স্থান ত্যাগ ও শান্তিপুর আগমন। বিপ্রের কুষ্ঠ শুনি হরিদাস মনে দুঃখী হইলা, বলাই পুরোহিতে কহি শান্তিপুর আইলা।
Ṭhākura was unhappy when he heard that the Brahmana Gopāla Cakravartī had been attacked by leprosy. Thus, after informing Balarama Acharya, the priest of Hiranya Majumdar, he went to Shantipur, the home of Advaita Acharya.
So Haridāsa Ṭhākura, he had no ill feeling
So Haridāsa Ṭhākura, he had no ill feeling
for Gopāla Cakravartī.
towards Gopāla Cakravartī.
And he was unhappy to hear that he is suffering from leprosy.
And he was very unhappy to hear that he was suffering from leprosy.
This is the attitude of a Vaishnava.
So this is the attitude of a Vaishnava.
But Lord Krishna was very angry at Gopāla Cakravartī
But Lord Krishna was very angry at Gopāla Cakravartī
for the offense at his devotee.
for the offense at his devotee. Sri Caitanya Bhagavat Adi Kanda 16.308.
সর্বত্র বিষ্ণু ভক্তিহীনতা ও বিষয়ভোগ প্রমত্ততা দর্শনে হরিদাসের দুঃখ ও কারুণ্য উদ্রেক। বিষয়েতে মগ্ন জগৎ দেখি হরিদাস দুঃখে কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ছাড়ে না নিঃশ্বাস।
A grief to see the entire world. Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Agreed to see the world
A grief to see the world
absorbed in material sense gratification.
absorbed in material sense gratification.
Haridāsa Ṭhākura
Haridāsa Ṭhākura
sighed deeply
sighed deeply
and chanted the name of Krishna Krishna.
and chanted the name of Krishna Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura Srila Prabhupada. At that time, people of the entire world were intoxicated with material knowledge, and being always greedy for material enjoyment, they refrained from the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. That is why the Vaishnava Thakuras sighed deeply as distress filled their hearts, which were saturated with compassion, seeing the pathetic condition and misfortune of the fallen souls who were averse to Lord Hari. An elaborate description of the phrase Vishajate Magno Jagat. Vishajate Magno Jagat. The entire world was absorbed in sense gratification. This is found in the statement of Rag in the Caitanya Chandrodaya Nataka as follows. The world is full of materialists. Alas, alas, there is no cleanliness, no truthfulness, no control of the mind and senses, no self-restraint, no peacefulness, no tolerance, no friendship, and no mercy. Where were my sincere loving friends uprooted by the people of Kali Yuga? Are they now living in seclusion? Could they have found a place Kali does not know? No, there is no such place to be found. The Brahmanas are interested only in their sixth duty, accepting charity. A sacred thread is the only sign of their status. The Kshatriyas are Kshatriyas in name only. The Vaishyas are like atheists. The Shudras think themselves great scholars and are eager to become gurus and teach the truth of religion. Alas, alas, Kali has degraded this caste into this. The Brahmanas are situated. The Brahmacharis are situated in that ashrama only because they cannot marry. The Grahasthas are interested only in filling their bellies of their wives and children. The Vanaprasthas are qualified only by the name Vanaprastha, traveling on the path of the years. The sannyasis are different from the others only in their saffron dress. And look at these mental speculators. From their very birth, they simply discuss words like designation, social class, logical inference, universal principle, and thus remain far away from the talk of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thinking whoever is most expert at logic is the wisest, these logicians think that their speculation is the only scripture. Now, here are some Mayavadis. They say that the Supreme is only eternity without qualities, without designations, beyond thought, and without actions. And they say, I am Brahman. Alas, alas, hating the personality of Godhead's form and denying the Lord's inconceivable potencies and qualities, they shun love for the Supreme Persons, obeisances to them from a distance. And here, learned persons debate theories of Kapila, Kanada, Patanjali, and Jaimini. Not one of them knows the truth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now I am in South India. This place is filled with Jains, Buddhists, naked yogis, and ferocious atheists. There are also Shaivites who are almost extinct. I think they will kill me. After walking a little further, he says, this must be a holy man cheerfully sitting on a great rock by the river bank. He seems to be free of anxiety while passing his time meditating on something beyond the modes of nature. Sitting in a yoga posture by the river bank, his eyes closed and expertly stopping with the tip of his tongue, the nectar, moonlight flowing from within his forehead, he meditates. But what is this? What broke his meditation? I know. It is the tinkling conch shell ornaments of a young girl fetching water. He's only staging a play to fill his stomach. He goes further and he says, this looks like a renounced soul. He must be a pilgrim coming from the holy places. I see he's talking to himself, although I went to Haridwar, Gaya, Prayag, Mathura, Benares, Pushkara, Sriranga, Ayodhya, Badarikashrama, Setubandha, Prabhasa, and many other places 3 or 4 times over in the past year. What would persons like us accomplish even in hundreds of years like this? He goes further on and says, this must be a genuine ascetic. But I see that he's actually worse and more sinful than above Philo renunciate, calling out, in a sharp, bitter voice, keeping the crowd away with a cruel stage stare, lifting his feet high as he walks with long strides, his forehead, arms, neck, stomach, and chest smeared with clay, and grasping kusha grass in his hand, he is like pride personified. Therefore, I understand that without pure devotional service to Lord Vishnu, expert meditation, samadhi, faith, scriptural study, good works, japa, austerity are like an actor's expert playing on stage. They are only different ways to fill an empty belly. Oh Kali, well done, well done. You brought the entire earth under your rule. You drove away the control of the mind, control of the senses, and all other virtues. You captured them and made them your slaves, working for your own profit. You uprooted the tree of religion, which had friendship with other virtue as its branches. In this situation, what can I do? Today, all over the world, I have seen disturbances born of irreligiosity and deviation of the mind and speech in pursuit of truth. But alas, When will I see the pure Vaishnava devotees who are engaged in Krishna Kirtan, who are decorated with tears and hair standing on end, in love of God, and who are equipoised with both internally and externally?
Who is saying this?
I don't know, it's mentioned in Chaitanya Chandrodaya Natak. Maybe.
So, Haridāsa Ṭhākura is going to Shantipur
So Haridāsa Ṭhākura was going to Shantipur
to see Advaita Gosai.
to see Advaita Gosai.
And on the way, you can see the sorry situation of the world.
So on the way, you could see the sorry situation of the world.
That all the Indian people were, this is supposed to be a spiritual place.
All over the India, people, which is supposed to be a spiritual place,
They have become materialistic
they had become materialistic
and under the control of Kali.
under the control of Kali.
Instead of controlling their senses, they're controlled by their senses.
Instead of controlling the senses, they are controlled by the senses. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adikanda 16.309.
বৈষ্ণব দর্শন সঙ্গ লাভার্থ ভক্তরা হরিদাসের নৈবেদ্যে আগমন বৈষ্ণব দেখিতে ইচ্ছা করে আইলেন হরিদাস নবদ্বীপপুরী।
After few days, Thakur Haridas went to Navadvip with a desire to associate with the Vaishnavas there. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura Srila Prabhupada. In order to see the pure Vaishnavas, Haridāsa Ṭhākura came to Sri Mayapur, which is situated in Navadvip, Gauda Desha's center of education. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Adikanda 16.310.
ভক্তপ্রবর হরিদাসের দর্শনে ভক্তগণের হর্ষ আতিশর্য। হরিদাসে দেখিয়া সকল ভক্তগণ হইলেন অতিশয় পরমানন্দময়।
All the devotees of Navadvip
All the devotees of Navadvip Dham
are overjoyed.
were overjoyed.
Minds are overjoyed on seeing Haridāsa Ṭhākura.
All the devotees of Navadvip, their minds were overjoyed on seeing of Navadvip Dham, where minds were overjoyed on seeing Haridāsa Ṭhākura. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura Srila Prabhupada. Seeing Sri Haridāsa Ṭhākura, all the Vaishnava Brahmanas of Navadvip became jubilant, considering him a member of their family. From this, we can understand that the non-devotee community of Navadvip did not feel any happiness on the arrival of Haridāsa Ṭhākura.
And there were the devotees of Vaishnavas in Navadvip
So they were devotees who were Vaishnavas in Navadvip.
are happy to see Haridāsa Ṭhākura.
They were happy to see Haridāsa Ṭhākura.
Those who are not devotees,
But those who are not devotees,
they didn't feel anything special
They did not feel anything special.
at the arrival of Haridāsa Ṭhākura.
On the arrival of Haridāsa Ṭhākura. Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat Adi Khanda 16.311.
হরিদাসের দর্শন সঙ্গ লাভে অদ্বৈত প্রভুর তাহাকে প্রাণ অধিক প্রিয় জ্ঞানে লালন। আচার্য গোসাই হরিদাসের রাখিলেন প্রাণ হইতে অধিক করি।
Upon obtaining the association of Haridāsa Ṭhākura,
Upon obtaining the association of Haridāsa Ṭhākura,
Advaita Acharya treated him as more dear
Ad-
than his own life.
Advaita Acharya treated him as more dear as his own life, than his own life. Purport by His Divine Grace.
See?
Exactly.
This happens always. Having received Shri Haridas at Shri Mayapur Navadvip, Shri Advaita Prabhu considered him more dear than his own life and maintained him with utmost care.
Advaita Acharya is showing
Advaita Acharya is showing
proper behavior of a Vaishnava.
the proper behavior of a Vaishnava.
Although Advaita Acharya is the leader of the Brahmanas,
Although Advaita Acharya is the leader of the Brahmanas,
and Haridāsa Ṭhākura was born in a non-Hindu family,
and Haridāsa Ṭhākura was born in a non-Hindu family,
but because Haridāsa Ṭhākura was a pure Vaishnava, Advaita Acharya received him a more dear than his own life.
Advaita Acharya received him as to be more dear than his own life
Therefore,
and treated him more dear.
it shows how a pure Vaishnava is beyond any caste consideration.
So this shows how a pure Vaishnava is beyond any caste consideration. Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat Adi Khanda 16.312.
বৈষ্ণবগণের ও বৈষ্ণব শ্রেষ্ঠ হরিদাসের পরস্পরের প্রতি সপ্রণয় ব্যবহার। সর্ব বৈষ্ণবের প্রীতি হরিদাস প্রতি হরিদাস করেন সবারে ভক্তি অতি।
All the Vaishnavas
Haridāsa Ṭhākura and Haridāsa Ṭhākura certificated with
Okay. All the Vaishnavas showered their affection on Haridāsa Ṭhākura, and Haridāsa Ṭhākura reciprocated
extreme devotion.
with extreme devotion.
So the Vaishnavas are naturally very affectionate towards Haridāsa Ṭhākura.
So the Vaishnavas, they are naturally very affectionate towards Haridāsa Ṭhākura.
Haridāsa Ṭhākura reciprocated their feelings.
And Haridāsa Ṭhākura reciprocated with their feelings. Okay. Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat Adi Khanda 16.313.
পরস্পর পাষণ্ডীগণের কটূক্তি সমালোচনা। পাষণ্ডী সকলে যত বাক্য জানা, অন্যে অন্যে সবে তাহা কহিতে লাগিলা।
They disc- yeah.
They they started to discuss
They started to discuss
amongst themselves the burning offensive statements
the burning offensive statements
of all the atheists.
of all the atheists. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura Srila Prabhupada. Seeing the devotee Brahmanas' love for Haridas, the envious atheistic persons always shot arrows of envious words at them. Hearing about such statements, the devotees became
the atheists began to give burning statements,
okay.
burning offensive statements.
Began to give burning offensive statements.
And the Vaishnavas were discussing these
The Vaishnavas were discussing this
amongst themselves.
amongst themselves. Chaitanya Bhagavat Adi Kanda 16.340.
ভক্তগণের নিরন্তর গীতা ভাগবত অনুশীলন বিচার। গীতা ভাগবত সর্বভক্তগণ অন্যে বিচারে থাকেন সর্বক্ষণ।
The meaning of the topics
Okay.
of Lalita and Vidagdha.
Meaning of the topic. Okay. The devotees constantly discussed with each other the meaning of the topics of the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura Srila Prabhupada. At that time, persons who were intoxicated by material enjoyment would not study Vaishnava literatures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Rather, they were constantly engaged in gratifying their senses. But the pure devotees always increased their ecstatic love by discussing Gita and Bhagavat among themselves, not being intoxicated by artificial worldly material rasas like the Prakrita Sahajiyas. The devotees of the Lord discussed the conclusive statements of Vaishnava literatures like Gita and Bhagavat while conducting Ishtagoshtis in this way. They desired the highest eternal benefit for the entire world.
So the materialists, considering themselves the body,
the bodies,
are absorbed in trying to get bodily happiness.
Were absorbed in trying to get bodily happiness.
While the Vaishnavas are discussing the transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
But the Vaishnavas were discussing the transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
As described in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam.
As described in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam.
Not being very interested in the materialistic goals of life.
Not being very interested in the materialistic goals of life. Sri Caitanya Bhagavat Adi Kanda 16.315.
ভক্তরাজ হরিদাসের কথা শ্রবণ কীর্তনে গৌর ধাম প্রাপ্তি যে জনে পরে তাহারে মিলিবে গৌর চন্দ্র ভগবান
To say will attain the Supreme Lord. Well, attain the Supreme Lord, Sri Gaurachandra.
One who reads or hears these topics will attain the Supreme Lord Sri Gaurachandra.
So this now that down Lord Caitanya appeared.
This Navadip Dham where Lord Caitanya appeared.
He changed the whole environment.
He changed the whole environment.
He got everyone to chant the holy names.
He got everyone to chant the holy names.
And he had his mercy on the rest of India.
And then he gave his mercy on rest of India.
And he took sannyas to give out his mercy everywhere.
And he took sannyas to give out his mercy everywhere. Thus ends part 4 of the chapter entitled Gopāla Cakravartī offends Haridāsa Ṭhākura and is attacked by leprosy. Under the section, the glories of Srila Haridāsa Ṭhākura. We have completed the chapter.
Dear devotees, This wonderful Transcendental Lord Caitanya class is going on every day on Zoom, Facebook, and Live, and in YouTube also. So please, those who are attending, kindly invite other devotees to this wonderful class. This is like a conveyance service that you are doing to bring from their home to Mayapur to listen to Guru Maharaj's class. Guru Maharaj welcomes one and all to the virtual book table from Sridhar Mayapur, and there is a physical book table, which is personal book table of Guru Maharaj right behind you for those who are physically present here. It's meant only for you, and please do visit before you leave. Srila Prabhupada wrote Ajita on January 6, 1975. Book distribution is our real business. If they receive one of our books and read even one page, they get eternally benefited. Therefore, I am stressing this book distribution. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The following fortunate devotees participated in the pastime of Guru Maharaj distributing books today. Mahendra Bhagel and his wife Shivani and his kids Nikita and Ritika. One Bhagavad Gita every day for 16 days up to 20 November 2022, and two small books for 21 days up to 25 November 2022. Roshan Krishnadas, one Bhagavad Gita. Kasadesh devotees, 4 Bhagavad Gita. Prema Bhakti Lata Devidasi from Chennai, 6 Bhagavad Gita. Gopāla Chandradas from Chennai, 10 Bhagavad Gita and 15 small books. Late Sachi Nandana Gaura Chandradas from Nepal, 370 Bhagavad Gita. Maha Premada Devidasi from Mayapur, 3 Bhagavad Gita. Brajesh Govinda Das from USA, 1 Srimad Bhagavatam set. Vinay Govinda Prabhu and his grandson Tattva Narasimha from Kolkata, 1 Srimad Bhagavatam set, 1 Chaitanya Charitamrita and 3 Bhagavad Gita. The Nitya Sevach Prahlad Krishnadas, 1 Bhagavad Gita, and Sarani Devidasi and her daughter, 1 Bhagavad Gita, and Balachandra Channa Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi Balavrinda, 2 small books. So Guru Maharaj is distributing 447 Maha big books, 19 small books, a total of 466 Srila Prabhupada transcendental book, including 2 Srimad Bhagavatam and 1 Chaitanya Charitamrita. Srila Prabhupada transcendental book distribution ki jai. Please devotees a special Narasimha Puja in a few hours from now in Sridhar Mayapur. All of you devotees also, please bless them by calling out after me. Nita. Thank you. Jai. Thank you. Guru Maharaj called out Nitai Gauraga. Guru Maharaj will be back in a few minutes. So please hold on. Meanwhile, you can visit the physical book table and come back. Please pause on this wonderful opportunity of participating in the pastime of Guru Maharaj in distributing Srila Prabhupada books, even if it is single Bhagavad Gita or just a few small books. Please do WhatsApp anytime at +91 94 34 76 04 02. Stay tuned for tomorrow's Lord Chaitanya class. And of course, our prayers include for all those who are celebrating their anniversaries today for their well-being and blissful Krishna consciousness. So please chant along with me as a prayer. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. On the devotees, Guru Maharaj blessing you, Krishna Matirastu. Thank you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Guru Maharaj ki jai. Stay tuned.